Hey guys, today we're checking out a package I received from China. In the box we have a socket 1155 motherboard and a stick of 8GB DDR3 memory. Both are readily available on Chinese marketplaces, but I got them from Banggood. They sent us these items for review and I will put some links down below in the description. The motherboard comes in a generic box. It is for socket 1155 and comes with the H61 chipset. It supports 2nd generation Sandy Bridge and 3rd generation Ivy Bridge processors. To give the board a little bit of a workout, I tested it with an i7 2600 as well as an i7 3770. What interested me about this board is that it's quite cheap. You're looking at $48 including shipping, and because it uses DDR3 memory, well, RAM prices are quite a bit lower compared to DDR4, and you can use an affordable second-hand processor, something like a Core i5 2400 for example, that can be had for a great price if you look around a little bit. For memory, we have a 8GB DDR3 1600 MHz module from Verseki, and you're looking at $43 including shipping. So that's quite a bit cheaper compared to DDR4. And this board will take 2 modules for a total of 16GB if you like. I did ask for a second module, but unfortunately that wasn't possible. Instead, they wanted me to check out this wireless keyboard and mouse set, and we'll come back to that one later. Before checking out the board in more detail and to check if there are any quirks, so do stick around until the end, I wanted to see if the performance checks out and is comparable to other systems. So I put the board on a test bench, installed the i7 2600, followed by the 8GB RAM stick. We also have a Sound Blaster Audigy RX and a Radeon RX 560D. I then ran user benchmark and it tells me everything is performing as expected, and we are at the 78th percentile with single channel 8GB of memory. I then swapped out the RAM for 2 4GB sticks with the same timings, so we have dual channel configuration, and the results improved a little bit to the 87th percentile. With the i7 2600, the RAM runs at 1333 MHz, so I swapped out the processor for an i7 3770, and now the RAM runs at 1600 MHz. I also tried some Corsair memory, which has an XMP profile, and that works fine. You just got to go into the BIOS and change the profile to XMP profile 1. I then ran a few games, and everything you see on the screen is with the i7 2600 and with that single 8GB DDR3 memory module. I ran all the games at 720p and with medium details to be sure that the video card is not holding the system back, but even with those settings, the Radeon RX 560D seems to be holding back the system a little bit. You can see the GPU load hitting 100% in quite a few games. Now, I've got a faster video card coming soon, so this will improve my tests quite a bit. So far everything is good. The board and the RAM worked great. We also have a fully unlocked BIOS with a ton of options. Now, I couldn't test any overclocking with these processors. I don't have any K series chips, but my understanding of these cheap boards coming out of China is that overclocking isn't really something that you should be doing anyway. So let's take a closer look at the board. Here we've got the socket 1155. We have 2 RAM slots here. I did try 2 8GB modules and that worked fine. So the maximum capacity I was able to test is 16GB. We have 4 SATA ports here. These are the older generation SATA 2 with a transfer rate of up to 3 gigabits per second. We got 2 PCI Express slots, 16X and 1X. The layout is quite interesting. It has a few quirks. For example, there's some headers here, USB 2, audio, and here's the fan header. These are really at inconvenient locations, making a neat build with cable management quite difficult. The size of the board is also interesting. It's very compact and small, but it's not Mini-DTX compatible. It's just a little bit too big. We've got a CMOS clear jumper here. The power connectors are on the edge, the 24-pin and 4-pin. We've got a 4-pin fan connector here, and it seems we have 4 power phases. At the back of the board we have 6 USB 2.0 ports in total. There's a VGA output and HDMI. There's an Ethernet port. Unfortunately this one is only fast Ethernet, so 100 megabits per second. That is a little bit disappointing. In 2018 you do expect every motherboard to have gigabit Ethernet at least. And we've got some audio ports here as well. And what about the keyboard and mouse that Banggood wanted me to try out? Well, at first only the mouse was working. The keyboard only started working after I removed and inserted the battery another time. It does come with a USB dongle, which I was using, but it can also connect through Bluetooth. All in all, I did find it quite average, to be honest, and I think I will just stick to my regular Microsoft and Logitech input devices. So let's wrap up this video. The value is definitely there. I got the expected performance and I had no compatibility issues at all. The BIOS was also fine. It supports the XMP profiles and the memory speed was also detected just fine. The motherboard has a few quirks in terms of layout, but in terms of performance, if that's the main focus and getting good value, then definitely this is working. So the value is definitely there. You're looking at around, well, under $90 for a motherboard with 8 GB of RAM. And if you look around hard enough for like a processor, something like an i5-2400, you can get a motherboard RAM CPU kit for under $150. In terms of gaming performance, and this was just a quick look, I could definitely see that the Radeon 560 is holding back a processor like an i7-2600, so such a CPU is still going strong, and there will be more content around these type of processors on the channel coming soon. So yeah guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about these items, do leave them down below in the comment section. Always eager to hear from you, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you soon with another one.